Hi everybody, Eric the Ontarian here again with a new video with regards to fault determination in car accidents. So, you've been in a car accident. You are wondering who's at fault and if your insurance rates are going to go up. I'll make it simple for you so that it's easy to understand, and please feel free to share this video and to subscribe to my channel and pass on the knowledge, because again, knowledge is power. People need to be empowered and make good decisions with regards to how the legislation in Ontario affects them. So, fault determination rules. It is actually legislation created by the Ontario government, and it is online, which you can read, and then you can then discern what type of fault you may be facing with regards to the insurance companies, and if they're going to say, hey, you're at fault, your rates are going to go up. So, the fault determination rules of Ontario legislation. Google it, find it, read it if you've been in a car accident. The interesting thing about this legislation compared to most anything else is that it's actually pretty easy to read. It's broken down into sections like vehicle accidents where one vehicle is following another, car accidents that happen in a parking lot, car accidents that involve turns, and they actually put it in simple diagrams. Car A and car B. And we'll refer to it as, if car A does this, car B is 0% at fault and car A is 100% at fault. So this is something that is important for this reason. It is not the police that determine fault for insurance purposes and if your insurance rates go up. They're there to take the report, to see if a charge is needed, and to make sure that the laws are followed, like one of my previous videos said, that you must exchange driver's license, ownership, and insurance as soon as two cars touch in Ontario. So once that is done, the police will take a report and, if need be, issue a ticket based on their discretion and based on their investigation. But for fault for insurance purposes, if your rates end up going up, insurance companies, who are the adjusters, who are the case managers for a car accident, are required to go by this document, the Fault Determination Rules of Ontario. The easiest way to explain it is this. If you're in a lane driving, it's your lane. If someone crosses in front of you, merges, changes lanes, and there's an accident, they are at fault 100%, and you, the person who is just driving in a lane, is not at fault. The only time that you will be at fault is if you fail to yield, is if you are behind somebody and they stop for whatever reason. Whether they stop suddenly, whether the weather was bad, whether there was an animal or not an animal, if they stop, the person behind them, i.e. you, must come to a stop and not hit them. Because if you do, you will be found at fault with regards to the fault determination rules. And that's 100% fault. So, they stopped all of a sudden. They braked out of nowhere. The light was green and they didn't go, and I rear-ended them. Not good enough for an excuse to be excused from the fault determination rules. You will be held at fault. So, if you're in a lane, it's your lane. Any accident that happens as a result of someone coming into your lane in any way, shape, or form, you will not be at fault. They will be at fault with regards to the insurance company. The only way you'll be found at fault is if you rear-end somebody. It's that simple. In a parking lot, it's a little bit more complicated because of the parking spaces and vehicles are moving. Typically, if there's two moving vehicles, insurance companies will want to default to 50-50 responsibility. Know that in the fault determination rules, it is clearly stated that, for example, if you're backing out of a parking spot and another car is driving behind you and there's a collision in any way, shape, or form, the person backing out of the actual parking spot is 100% at fault. Please review the fault determination rules when speaking to your insurance company to make sure that they are following the rules and that you are protected. Now, with regards to reporting, with regards to giving the information to the police, people will say, well, what if we just want to do it privately and not go through our insurance? That is up to you as adults if you want to do it or not. Keep in mind, the insurance companies are businesses. And if you don't want to utilize the service you've been paying for every month, then really it's an insurance company that's based on profit that you're saying that you don't want them to pay out. You're not going to get too much of an argument from them. That being said, if you are found not at fault for a car accident, again, you're just driving in your lane and an accident happens because somebody's crossing over into your lane or changing lanes or whatever reason, you do not have to pay your deductible. A deductible is the part of the repair costs that are incurred as a result of your accident. So if your car repair bill for your car accident is $5,000, you may have a deductible, and which will be clearly written on your policy from the insurance company. Most people have, say, $500 or $1,000 deductible. You'll be required to pay that first $500 to $1,000, your deductible, on whatever the repair bill is. The insurance companies do this so that every little chip of paint that happens on a car that costs $50 to fix, that people aren't putting claims in because they're responsible for their deductible. So unless something is far above the deductible, people tend to not want to put their claim through because it's just not economical. So if you're not at fault, deemed not at fault by the insurance company, you don't pay your deductible and your rates don't go up. One way of looking at it is if you're in a car accident, it's not your fault. You were just driving in your lane, then you get your car fixed for free, and there's no consequence with regards to your insurance rates, except one thing that people tend to forget. You may have a 5 or 10% discount for not ever having made a claim. You will lose that making a claim even though it's not your fault. So you will have to consider this and weigh the balances. So read your policy. Again, something most people don't do. Read your policy because it tells you what the insurance company is required to do and also what you're required to do. The other thing is that the person deemed at fault will have to pay their deductible and their insurance rates will go up. And if you have an at-fault accident, it stays in your record for 6 years. And careful with regards to the accident forgiveness. I actually got burned by this myself a few years ago, and I turned into my driveway and I hit a snowbank. The cost was about $1,800, but I had a $500 deductible, and I had accident forgiveness because if you hit something with your car, it's deemed as an at-fault accident. If you hit a snowbank. Now, if an animal runs in front of you like a deer, then you have to pay your deductible, but it doesn't go down as an at-fault accident. So I hit a snowbank, so it was my fault, single motor vehicle accident. I decided to put it through insurance because I'd rather pay $500 than $1,800 and use my accident forgiveness, which means my accident rate or my insurance rates don't go up. After a couple years, I decided to shop around for insurance. So I went to the next insurance company that I said, hey, I'm shopping around. Well, sir, we see that you have an at-fault accident and that will affect your rates. And I was like, no, I have accident forgiveness. And they said, well, yes, I'm sure you do with your previous insurance company, which means the accident which stays on your record for 6 years is just not calculated by the insurance company that you're currently with. But everybody else that you go and shop around with, they will see it. So, if you're going to use your accident forgiveness, know that it's on your record for 6 years regardless. It's just that your current insurance company won't calculate it in. And you need to read the fine print of your coverage because a lot of times the insurance companies will say, we will forgive this one accident and not raise your insurance rates. But if you get into a second car accident within that 6-year period from when you got the first one, they will turn around and now count 2 accidents against you and raise your rates according to 2 accidents. So, don't jump on the accident forgiveness bandwagon right away. You need to clearly ask questions, educate yourself, read your policy, and make sure that it is worth using that accident forgiveness. Any questions, concerns, any information that you want further elaborate on, please leave a message down below and please subscribe to my channel. And for the record, this is my new co-host, my dog George, and like it or not, you're going to be listening to these two. All right, have a great day and take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the winter.